Tony Moran has made some wild claims about Halloween, its fans, and his co-stars. Alfred Molina has dropped some spicy details about Spider-Man No Way Home. And Andrew Lincoln has teased his return in The Walking Dead final season and in the Rick Grimes movies. We're talking all of this plus more. This is Let's Talk Movie News. Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
I'm Miguel, guys.
And we have some fun stories tonight. We have some negative stories tonight too, but we'll get to that dark shit first, and then we'll hop in. So, Miguel, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. It was leg day, and I can't move.
That's fine. That's okay. That's
fine.
Okay. It's okay to not be able to move sometimes. It happens.
Exactly.
for many different reasons.
What are you drinking tonight?
I am. So, fun story. I think have I told my mango habanero story?
I think you have.
On the show yet?
We've talked about Tennessee before.
So my wife and I went to Gatlinburg a couple weeks ago, and we did a moonshine tasting at Old Smoky downtown. If you've been to Gatlinburg, you all know Old Smoky has you can walk in and do the tasting, and you can buy moonshine and whiskey and all that stuff. Well, they had, I think it's fairly new, they had mango habanero whiskey. This shit lit me up. Like, I was not excited. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. I like wings. I like mango. I like habanero peppers. I'm a pepper guy. But I was like, I don't know about it. And I took the shot. And, it's them tiny little, like, nothing. It's like a quarter of a shot that they do. I mean, that's your taste.
You can legally still drive afterwards.
Yeah, we did like 8 or 9 shots, and you don't even
that's
feel
not
anything.
legal.
Like, it's like barely anything. But I took the shot of it, and it is sweet at the beginning. It tastes like a mango, and then it lights you up at the end, and it's got that habanero kick, and it's actually like spicy, like you put a pepper in your mouth. It's so good. But I found they put in this little recipe card. I bought a 5th of it, of the mango habanero whiskey, and they have a little recipe card in there. And there's this thing called a heat wave. It's got like 3 or 4 different recipes to use with it. And this heat wave, it's I think it's a shot of mango habanero. It's 2 shots of Sprite, and then it's a little bit of pineapple juice, like a splash of pineapple juice with it. Woo! Like, it is nice.
That does sound nice.
It is really good. Next time you come over, you got to try this.
Yeah, there's one thing I haven't been able to do since I turned 21. Or, guys, I'm 23, by the way. But since I turned 21, bro, it's been like 3 years. I still haven't gone to like many breweries. I've only gone to like one. I've only gone on the one here in Richmond, Kentucky, called Dreaming Creek. Shout out to Dreaming Creek, by the way. Absolutely. They got good shit. But I found this at Dreaming Creek. I found this booklet. It's apparently a brochure, and it's like it has all the different breweries in, like, I guess, the state of Kentucky, and like it's basically like a brewery trail. Yo, I shit you not.
Oh yeah, you're doing that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that shit taken care of before the end of the semester, boy. That's if good. You don't even know. So yeah, maybe this weekend I might go to another one.
It's been a crazy year and a half, man.
Yeah, we deserve this. Yeah, so I'm gonna knock a couple off by the end of the semester.
That's fine, man.
Because I'd love to try those, man. Those different breweries and whatever the fuck you went to, tastings, those sound pretty dope.
It's cool.
Pretty chill environment. Yeah.
There were a couple that were strange. Like, they had they have their cinnamon whiskey or their cinnamon moonshine, and it's like, I think the guy described it as Fireball on crack. It's just, it's good stuff. But man, I knew I wanted to buy one, but man, it kicks you in the nuts, because it's like you're not expecting it to be what it is. It's good.
I can't wait to get kicked in the nuts.
Yep. It's what every man waits for.
What?
That's what I'm waking up and
Oh
my what you wait for, right? Michael Keaton, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Holy shit, he did say that. That's fucking great. All right, what movie news we got?
But guys, we got a whole bunch of crazy stories tonight. first of all, I wanted to start off with this right out of the gate. And this is a story that broke a few days ago from MovieWeb. I will post this article and this video down below. But Tony Moran, who played unmasked Michael Myers, he was in John Carpenter's original Halloween for, let's say, less than 6 seconds.
3 seconds.
Probably. But it was not a very long time. He's made some pretty crazy claims about not only his Halloween co-stars and the Halloween franchise and the film itself, but also the fans.
What do you say about us, Brad?
And that's bothered me. You know, I don't want to give it any more attention than it needs. But at the same time, let me start by saying this. I could care less what Tony Moran thinks of Halloween. I really could. You know, it's one man's opinion. Yes, he was a part of the project, no matter how small his role was. You know, and he's entitled to that opinion. Nobody went through that experience but him. And if he had a crappy experience, he had a crappy experience. He's allowed to talk about that. Freedom of speech, right? But here's where I started to get a little pissed off. And, you know, I will say this video, you know, if you haven't seen it, pause us, go watch this video, and then come back to us.
Please come back to us.
Please. You know, it's the way he talks about other people that really bothers me. Again, I don't care what he thinks of the Halloween franchise. What I really care about is how he goes about talking to fans and talking about his co-stars. And, you know, how he expresses his opinion is a completely different topic. And, you know, especially, and Miguel, you know this, over the last few weeks, there's been a whole lot of talk about toxic fandom.
Yes. Especially
surrounding Zack Snyder's Justice League. And let me say this, if you were one of the people that was making threats against Ann Sarnoff and the rest of the Warner Media executives, you're an idiot.
A piece of shit. I can make jokes, but you can't make threats. That's all I can say. It's not right. But
here's the thing. I think what bothers me is, you know, especially with the whole release the Snyderverse thing, or really restore the Snyderverse, the people that were making threats, do you all realize you're being counterproductive?
Yeah, just a bit.
Like, if you are making threats against people who are doing this, you are being counterproductive. I mean, we had a little bit of a rant video, but it was kind of in fun. We didn't threaten anybody. Yes, we were irritated. Yes, as fans of the franchise, it is disappointing. But at the same time, you don't go bashing somebody. You don't go threatening them physically, emotionally, whatever. You don't do that. And, you know, I bring the toxic fandom thing up because, you know, toxic fandom can come from fans and it can come within fandom, but it also can come from people who are on the cast and the crew or are from the behind the scenes thing. Would you agree with that?
I can agree. Yeah.
And, you know, the minute that Tony Moran started shaming Halloween fans for, you know, what they love and for the way they act at conventions and things like that, that's when you start to cross a line. And even how he talks about his Halloween co-stars and about John Carpenter, it's just wrong. And if you watch this video, he calls himself an asshole, his words, not mine, at least 5 or 6 times throughout the video. And, you know, it's this overly obnoxious and crude attitude that just it really rubs me the wrong way, and I think it rubbed a whole lot of people the wrong way. And let me say this, I've never met Tony Moran. I've unfortunately I wanted to go to a convention and it got canceled because of COVID, but you know, he's at a lot of conventions, he meets a lot of fans. And you know, this is not at all a dig at Tony. If you're watching this is not a dig at you. You know, you stopped acting. Tony Moran stopped acting when he was in his 30s. From what I understand, he quit acting. Now, if I'm wrong, please, somebody feel free to correct me in the comments.
Tony, please correct him.
but um, I believe that Halloween is really his biggest role, and that is cool, man. Like that's part of the thing. Own that. Instead of going around to all these different cons and in interviews claiming to be the Michael Myers and the guy who played him in the entire movie, own what you did, because you are one of the only people in one of the only times that we actually saw an unmasked version of Michael Myers. And that was a great scene. It was literally the climax of the movie. You played him at the climax of the movie. And I just wish he would own that a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I can even let all of that go. That doesn't bother me. Again, it's the way he talks about people. It's just not cool. You know, he does talk about Halloween, and he says that he thought it was a piece of shit. In his own words, he thought that it was corny and the name was stupid. He didn't want to lower himself by being a part of this movie. And you know what? Those are his opinions. That freedom of speech, just like I said, those are his opinions. He is completely free to say that, and that is fine. I have zero problems with that at all.
For someone that like is literally part of an entire franchise, that basically he's part of the foundation of this franchise, he literally is getting all pissed off with, I guess, nothing. Like, what is the main reason why he's upset right now? Is it because he's not in the next John Carpenter movie?
No, I don't think so. He just, part of the problem is that he goes around and at every con he you know, the banners behind him, and I guess it's not just his own fault, because these cons that invite him put Tony Moran, the original Michael Myers. Yes, you're not wrong, but at the same time, that's not really the role you played. Yes, you were the original Michael Myers, but at the same time, you were the unmasked Michael Myers. You played him for less than 10 seconds, and that is fine. Again, that is not a dig. I don't mean that as a dig at all. That's awesome, man. Like, that is really cool. And where am I going with this? You know, here's the thing. Again, this is not about Tony Moran's opinions of the franchise. This is about how he talks about people.
Yeah, he called us losers. Fuck 'em.
As a fan, if I wait an hour and a half in a line and I pay money to get your autograph or to talk to you or to get a picture with you, I don't appreciate it when you call fans cocksuckers behind their back. That's not okay, man. Like, we live in such a hateful world as it is. And this is really the crux of the whole thing for me. There's already enough hatred and already enough just anger and name calling and just things that are completely inappropriate, especially for someone who has a platform like you. So many people don't have a platform to reach others on, and you have that platform, man. And again, Tony, if you're watching, man, this is not a bashing session for you at all. I from the bottom of my heart, I don't mean that. I hope you see that this really has kind of offended people and put people off. And you know, these fans, these are the people. You're right. It was a low budget horror movie. It cost $300,000.
I thought you were gonna say 300.
No, and no, but the fans, people who love this thing, and I'm one of them. If you can't tell from what's behind me, I'm one of them. The fans have kept this thing alive for so long. I mean, 42 years since the original was released. They have kept this thing alive. And I hate I hate seeing people use their platform to demean others. And especially, you know, it's not even just the fans. You know, in this video, Tony talked about, you know, meeting John Carpenter for the first time, and he's, you know, judging him for the way he looked and the way he was acting. He looked at PJ Souls in front of an audience and said, "Well, she showed her tits," and things like that. Man, that's disrespectful. That's not cool.
That's someone living like not with the times. See what I mean?
Yeah, the whole act of
Being a douche
of just
in the
acting
movie
like
theater.
and man, it's not okay. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna end it there. I'm not gonna go on any more than that. That's all I have to say, really. But there's enough hatred in the world, man. Use your platform, build people up. Those people who want to meet you, they have waited in line for you. They have paid money to meet you. They want to take a picture. They want you to sign their mask. They want you to sign their figure, their poster. Man, they want to meet you. Like, just have some grace, have some humility. At the end of the
Well
day,
said.
that's all I got.
Well said, my man.
So that was a hell of an opening. I didn't, I
Yeah, it
really
was.
didn't expect to even open with that so soon. But
Well, you're just passionate with it, man.
it just,
I mean, look at you.
seriously, I really don't care. Yes, I'm a Halloween fan. I really don't care what he thinks of Halloween. If he thinks Halloween is the biggest stain in motion picture history, I disagree with him. But I don't
Obviously.
care. That's fine. That's his opinion, man. Go ahead. Talk about Halloween that way if you want. But don't talk about other people in the way that he did. And I know, make no mistake, I know this video was edited together to make him look bad. But, I think in the world we live in, things like that need to be addressed. And, we just give people some grace, man. Just be humble. Be humble to people who want to meet you and who want to, who want to build this thing up and who want to build each other up. So that's all I got to say about that.
Well said.
Hey guys,
And we're back.
We are back. If you're wondering why it looks a little bit different, we were in the middle of filming the second episode of Let's Talk Movie News, and Kentucky weather is a load of shit.
It's a load of horse cock.
It literally is. So the wind started getting picked up. Storm started moving in. It was 72 degrees that evening. We took the dog for a walk. We were sitting outside. It was beautiful. Then a thunderstorm came, and then the wind knocked out my Wi-Fi. So we lost the stream. We lost what we were in the middle of talking about.
Yeah, bro, I shit you not. Like, it was literally like, I mean, my Wi-Fi was fine. Rich Kentucky didn't experience much of where the fuck you are.
I think we got the wind up
yeah,
a little bit north.
You got the wind knocked out of your Wi-Fi because every time he was
really
talking,
did.
It would pause. And I shit you not, I was trying to play along. I just sit there like this. Just hoping
you were
it
not
would
trying
catch.
to play along. Are you kidding me?
Hopefully it would catch, and then I could just carry on. But nah, it was staying on for like fucking
you were trying
2 to 3 minutes, and I had to tell Brad, like, Brad, something's going on. You lagging. My Wi-Fi is good. I got Spectrum. Spectrum's shit, by the way.
The point of the matter, you're about to get shut down by Spectrum.
I don't care.
You're about to get
cut off
down.
my Wi-Fi. See what you're gonna do. I pay the bill.
It was really Disney because we were in the middle of talking about Spider-Man. It was really Disney. Disney cut the feed.
Disney didn't want anything getting leaked.
They don't.
Yeah.
So but we're back. So,
we're back.
Different day. Same episode, new day. But here we are. So we're gonna talk some movie news. We're done with our Tony Moran rant. That was interesting.
It was savage.
It was something. It was definitely something. But this article and this bit of news came out about a week ago, and since then the details have changed a little bit. The circumstances have changed, but this came from Screen Geek, and it was an article titled Christian Bale is reportedly in talks to return as Batman. Now again, circumstances have changed, things have changed. It's been confirmed now that Michael Keaton will play his version of Tim Burton's Bruce Wayne in the upcoming Flash film that will be a part of the DCEU greater canon. But this article, there was a source titled Giant Freaking Robot, which I completely dig. Shout out to Giant Freaking Robot. I have no idea what you all do, but that's an awesome name.
Badass name.
But it was revealed via them that they had this to say: either Michael Keaton is coming back as Batman or Christian Bale is. Both of these actors would likely be in a very powerful negotiation position when it comes to their salary for the film, and it would likely come down to a matter of how much each actor is asking and just how much screen time they would have to commit to the project. So my take on this is that, you know, when we talked about this really in the last couple of episodes of Let's Talk Movies and even Let's Talk Movie News in the first one, there was a lot of ambiguity on whether Michael Keaton was going to be in The Flash or not. I think that was always the original plan. But I wonder if Christian Bale was their backup.
I mean, it could.
I think it could have
You
been.
see how busy he is, though. He's in the Marvel universe
Yeah,
now.
Christian Bale's got a lot, and I think he's always been a pretty active actor. You know what I mean? He's never really had like a lull, I don't believe.
No.
But my take is I think that would have been their backup plan. If Michael Keaton would have backed out for some reason, really, whether it was because of COVID in the UK or you know, he didn't want to do it for you know, one reason or another, I think Christian Bale was probably going to be their backup plan.
Yeah.
So, and that would have been interesting. Although, you know, Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy and that universe that he created, really in any Nolan film, that universe is very futuristic and it's so, very modern.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it would have fit in with, you know, the vibe they were going for.
Yeah, his Christopher Nolan's universe, they're so tight knit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it can't be expanded upon.
No.
Like it's
once his story is done, his story
finished.
Is done. Yeah.
There's nothing left. Yeah, exactly. So like to connect a Christopher Nolan film to a, you know, a superhero universe that DC or Warner Bros. Is trying to do, it wouldn't match, so to speak. Because I mean, if you think about it, like, okay, think about it right now. If replace Batfleck and put Christian Bale's Batman and Dawn of Justice, how do you think that would have gone?
Oh,
like shit.
It would have been completely. He'd have got his ass handed to him. It'd have been completely different.
Yeah, it would have been trash, wholeheartedly trash. Mainly because, like you said, like Christopher Nolan's Batman is really modern and more ground to earth, so to speak, in regards to the science of it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, like, practical. It's practical, but it's practical in a futuristic way almost. You know what I mean? And all of his movies kind of have that.
They're like movies that could honestly possibly happen.
They could possibly happen, but it's like it could possibly happen in 20 years, maybe. You know what I mean? It's kind of. I don't know. It's everything from Interstellar to Inception to the Dark Knight trilogy to what's that one that just came out a little bit ago?
Holy hell, I forgot.
I can't think of it. We went and saw it. I actually did. I liked it a lot. Tenet.
Yeah,
they all have this vibe of like a
dystopian.
It's just future. A dystopian futuristic type thing, and I dig it. And I gotta say, I commend Christopher Nolan for that. I really like that his stories, you know, we live in a day of Marvel and DC where everything is a universe, everything has to build, you know, even look at, you know, things like horror movies and action movies, everything has to build, there has to be sequels and there has to be sequels. Christopher Nolan has an end in mind. Like there's an end to his story. It's not just going to be endless sequels forever and ever and ever. There's an ending to the story, and I think that's part of why he's one of my favorite directors. In a lot of ways, I think he is my favorite director and my favorite writer. I really enjoy his movies. Inception, I will say, I was never I like Inception, but I could rewatch any of his movies and really enjoy it. I've seen Inception once, and I'm like, whatever. I could watch it again, or I couldn't. I could take it or leave it. But
Interstellar is my favorite one.
Interstellar is amazing. I remember I saw that in the movie theater, and I was like when it ended, it's one of those movies where it like you love it, but there's so much going on that by the time it ends, I remember sitting in the movie theater and I was like, what the hell just happened? I feel like I need to watch it 6 more times to like really grasp what I just saw. But
that's the only Christopher Nolan movie that doesn't have a sequel that I wish it had, because I wanted him to find her. But
yeah, me too.
Spoiler alert if you guys haven't seen it. Sorry, he's going to go find someone.
And I think it leaves it open to that though, and that's cool. It kind of leaves it open to the imagination.
Yeah.
But all of that to say, I don't know that Nolan's Batman would have fit into this timeline. And I know you could make the same argument that Tim Burton's Batman with Michael Keaton wouldn't fit into the same thing. But again, at least Tim Burton's Batman was a little bit darker. It was already that gothic 90s feel Tim Burton vibe anyways. And I think that goes a little bit better with where the DC is, especially if you look at the Snyderverse, which I know we're not doing anymore, blah, blah, blah. But it goes a little bit better. But again, that has since changed because Michael Keaton's talent agency has now, since that article was, excuse me,
That habanero, Jesus.
That habanero, and I have the beer burps. I'm drinking a Blue Moon now. I'm switching. But Michael Keaton's talent agency confirmed that he will be a part of The Flash, that it is officially, it's begun filming in the UK, and Michael Keaton is attached to the project. So we'll see at what capacity he's going to be in the film. I don't think it, to anyone who's thinking that Michael Keaton is going to be donning the Batman uniform again,
I want the bat nipples back.
I doubt we're going to see.
Wouldn't that be weird
if they're trying to introduce the multiverse? Wouldn't that be weird if they put Michael Keaton in the bat nipple suit?
Do you know what they needed? They need to bring back that whole like quick camera thing. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that are like this is like that when they're suiting up. You know what I'm talking about?
I want you to know that looked terrible.
Hey, you know what? I'm not Tim Burton, so fuck off. Okay, I'm no Tim Burton. Okay?
Why are you Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, but I want him to bring that essence of the Tim Burton. Like if they go to that universe, I want it to look like Tim Burton's Batman.
It does, and that's the other question: are they going to be going to Tim Burton's universe, or is Michael Keaton going to be going into the modern DCEU universe? So that's what I'm curious about. And you know, I feel like his role needs to be significant, or else why even do it? Like, why? And I feel the same way about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in Spider-Man No Way Home, which is actually a really good segue, because Alfred Molina, who obviously, you know, Alfred Molina, I really enjoy him as an actor. I think he's great. And I think he's since retired, but Alfred Molina played Doc Ock in the Sam Raimi trilogy in Spider-Man 2 from 2004.
9.
What? No.
Bro, think about it. I'm not gonna lie. We think this thing is far.
No, it wasn't. It was not 2009 because we lived in Kentucky in 2009, and I remember seeing Spider-Man 3 in Florida. Okay. Like when we lived in Florida. So
I'll give it to you.
It was. I want to say it was 2004 because I think Spider-Man 1 was 2001 or 2002. I don't know. I'm getting my dates all wrong. Anyways, Alfred Molina spoke with Variety, and he revealed some interesting things about Spider-Man No Way Home.
Beans.
He did drop the beans. I'm surprised Disney has not deleted everyone and everything from social media so far. But here's what Alfred Molina had to say about Spider-Man No Way Home. He said, when we were shooting it, we were all under orders not to talk about it because it was supposed to be some great big secret. But, you know, it's all over the internet. And I actually described myself as the worst kept secret in Hollywood. And I'm sorry, but it kind of is at this point. Like, I know that they're trying to hold on to the Toby and Andrew thing. But like, you know, and again, let me be clear. We don't have sources telling us, oh, Toby and Andrew were in the movie. It's common sense. Like,
pretty much
at this point, you know, Alfred Molina is confirmed. Jamie Foxx as Electro is confirmed. Willem Dafoe is highly rumored. I don't know if he's actually been confirmed yet. I'd have to look into that, but he's highly rumored. I mean, you have so many people from both the Raimi and the Amazing Spider-Man duo of films that are confirmed for this movie. So it's kind of like, I mean, duh. Like, the cat has kind of been out of the bag for a while.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but I almost think that they kind of need to run with it at this point. You know, even hell, do you remember, I want to say it was in January, maybe late December, early January, one of the Sony account, I think it was Sony Brazil or one of the Sony Twitter accounts for somewhere else. It was around Christmas because they were like, you know, you all want a Christmas they tweeted something. And again, it was in a foreign language, but the translation read something like,
It was in Portuguese.
What do you want for it might have been what do you want for Christmas? Sony and Disney have a Christmas present for you. It's all 3 Spider-Mans in one movie or something like that. And then that got deleted. So it's like, I mean, come on, the cat's out of the bag. Like, let it go. It's funny because I keep seeing on YouTube, like as I'm posting and like as I'm like working on the show and stuff, I keep seeing people editing together like old like clips and stuff from the Raimi trilogy and from Homecoming and Far From Home and the Amazing Spider-Man films, like trying to be like, here's the teaser trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm like, bro.
Let me tell you how much that shit pisses me off. It pisses me off to no fucking end. Your boy right here, Brad, sent me a link saying Spider-Man teaser or Spider-Man
did that
leak.
the other day.
And I literally woke up, saw it, and I was like, lies. So I went on YouTube, looked up Spider-Man No Way Home, and I saw it, and I saw like a trailer, and it turned out to be a spliced up version of Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's, Andrew Garfield's, and fucking it was a bunch of like reused old clips. And I was like, okay, this clearly ain't it. So let me try Brad's link. So I tried Brad's link, and it was by far the worst fucking thing I ever saw. I literally sent Brad, I was like, Brad, I hate you.
Okay, it was a joke.
It
was literally Doctor Strange comes through his portal thing, and then he's like, my name's Doctor Strange, we need your help. And Toby goes, I missed the part where that's my problem.
Yeah, it was a Spider-Man 3 thing. But yeah, man, those fucking teasers, those like fan edits, teaser things, they piss me off.
Would you not shit yourself if in the movie Doctor Strange is like, I'm from another world, we need your help, and Toby just goes, he looks right at the camera, pizza time, and leaves.
No, I want that scene where, like, in Spider-Man 2, whenever he loses his powers and the sirens go by him, and he's like,
he just shoves like half a hot dog in his mouth. Yeah.
I want that one.
Yeah, man. I don't know. But Alfred Molina went on to say, talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, he said, it was wonderful. It was very interesting going back after 17 years to play the same role, given that in the interviewing years, I now have the intervening years, I now have 2 chins, a waddle, a crow's feet, and a slightly dodgy lower back.
Oh, he's talking about his age.
Okay, yeah, he's talking about his age. Can you believe it's been 17 years since Spider-Man 2 came out? It was 2004.
That's
man.
Wild.
I remember seeing that in the movie theater and like freaking out. I gotta say, man, it's in the top 10 best superhero movies of all time. It really is.
Spider-Man 2. Yeah,
sure. I think it's the best. It's the strongest out of the entire Raimi trilogy.
It's the strongest out of all the Spider-Man movies, without a doubt.
Ever?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's my opinion.
See,
and I'm sure it's everyone's opinion.
And we talked about this in episode 2 back when we were like in our infancy stage. But I liked Homecoming and Far From Home. And I know they're trying to do something different, and I commend Marvel for doing something different. It's really working. Do. It is working. And I'm glad we didn't tell the whole Uncle Ben how he becomes Spider-Man story. Like, introducing him in Civil War was perfect. Tony finding him, Tony kind of being the father figure he never got to have. Mm-hmm. All of that was it was perfect. It worked really, really well. But I will say, and this is something we talked about in episode 2, I've missed the New York scene and seeing Spider-Man swing around New York. Do you realize one of the few times we've actually gotten to see Spider-Man, I believe the only real time we've seen Tom Holland Spider-Man swinging through the streets of New York is at the end of Far From Home, when he picks up MJ right before the big Mysterio reveal, and he says, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. That's the only time we really see him swinging through New York City in the MCU Spider-Man films. And I've missed that. And I get they're taking him around the world. That's awesome. They're taking him to different places in Homecoming, and it's at the Avengers Tower, and I mean that's cool, but I miss New York. I miss seeing them by the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty, and all of those things. It's just, I miss that.
I remember whenever Far From Home came out and they were like showing trailers of it, and I realized where they were going. I was like, how is my man gonna be swinging through buildings? Like, there's no building to swing around in.
Yeah.
Like in that, where were they? Rome, Italy? I don't remember.
But they were a couple different places. They were in Venice, and
they were in Europe. pretty much.
Yeah.
And just in my head, I'm thinking, there's no buildings to swing around. Respectfully, sorry, Europe, y'all ain't got no skyscrapers.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was like, there ain't gonna be much of him swinging. But at the end, yeah, I noticed that that's one of the only times, except for like Homecoming, like they showed a montage of him, I guess like helping people, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like him like legitimately like swinging through the buildings and skyscrapers
Right.
that New York has to offer. And I like that back. That's one thing. The Amazing Spider-Man did fairly decent job on it. Like
It really did.
the
It
the
was
swinging
great.
scene was actually pretty dope.
It was arguably the best swinging scenes of any Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
It really was. And then in this interview, Alfred Molina, I guess when he was approached, he asked John Watts, who's the director of No Way Home and really all of the MCU Spider-Man films, he asked him how Doc Ock could even return. I guess he wasn't familiar with the multiverse storyline and the Spider-Verse, and he asked him how he could return since he died at the end of Spider-Man 2.
They called him. They're like, "Hey, we want you to come back for these new Spider-Mans," and he's on the phone. He's like, "Fucking how?
What?
How
the fuck?" He was like, he was sitting there on the phone and he went,
"What? Yeah, exactly." No, actually, he was like, "Show me the money. How much you gonna pay me for this?"
Right.
And I'm pretty sure they paid him a decent amount for this Spider-Man too.
Yeah. Well, and everybody said, when this news was breaking that it was going to be a Spider-Man or a Spider-Verse film, like at the November, December of last year, everybody was like, they're never going to get Toby and Andrew back. They don't want to return. Blah 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 blah. And it's going to be like that Office meme of what's his name peeking out of the blinds.
Dwight.
When Dwight peeks out the blinds, or when Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield peeks out the blinds at their house, and Disney's got dump trucks of money in their front lawn, they'll be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll return. I'll come back. Sure, yep, why not?
Yeah, why not? Exactly.
Disney's got those dump trucks of money, man.
They really do.
That will do it.
So how are they going to bring them back?
So John Watts said, in this universe, no one really dies. And then Alfred Molina went on to say, he just looked at me and said, "Do you see what we did to Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel L. Jackson?" Talking about de-aging them. And Molina, he said, "I don't have the same physicality that I had 17 years ago. That's just a fact. But I then remembered that it's the tentacles that do all the work. My basic physical move as Doc Ock, as the actor, is just this. I do that a lot, and the arms are going to do all the killing and smashing and breaking. I'm just with a kind of mean look on my face. It was fantastic." So he's excited, and I love seeing the fact that Alfred Molina is like actually excited to come back and do this, because he really was a great Doc Ock. There was no cheesiness to it. I mean, it was great. He was a really cool Doc Ock.
He was a really complex villain.
I genuinely liked him. He was complex. And same kind of thing that we've talked about with villains. This is like a recurring theme on this show. Thanos, Darth Vader. I don't even remember who we were just talking about in Let's Talk 80s movies. But the best villains are the villains who think that they're like you said, they're the hero in their own story. And he was trying to save his wife. He thought he was avenging his wife by doing what he was doing. He thought that he was doing something good. And then, of course, at the end, drown it in the river.
Yeah.
Drown
it. That was emotional.
It was an emotional ending, man. It was deep. Because then at that same point, MJ finds out that it was Peter. I mean, there was a lot of shit crammed in that like minute and a half of movie. But yeah, man, his whole redemption at the end, it was a fantastic ending.
So I'm curious to see how he's going to return as a villain.
Yeah, you know I'm still kind of under the impression, and again, I've had no sources tell me this. We don't have sources. I'm speculating here, but I still think. I wonder if, because he's a scientist, he'll have something to do. Will he understand the multiverse? Or will he kind of show up in a ripple or a breaking of this universe? Or I think he will show up in a Sinister Six like capacity. I think he'll be with other villains. But I definitely hope that Alfred Molina gets a little bit of time to shine, because
Yeah, show his acting skills
Yeah,
again.
because he's good, man.
Hmm.
He's great. He was a really great Doc Ock. He was a great villain.
Yeah,
So I hope
don't make him
they.
a side character in the Sinister Six because he's one of in the comics. I'm not mistaken. He's the founder of the Sinister Six. I'm not
I
mistaken.
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be dope if he founded a multi-dimensional Sinister Six? I
Hmm.
mean, God,
That would be
that would
dope.
be dope.
Hmm.
I mean, that would kick ass in so many different ways. And the other thing, this better be a long movie because there is a lot. And I mean a lot. Like one of the most ambitious things that Marvel and Disney have ever done. They have to cram a lot into this movie.
Yeah, they
So
got
I
to
feel like
accomplish.
it needs to be at least like 3 hours long, like Endgame level long. I really do. I think it needs to be a long movie because you got to think about it. You have to push Tom Holland's story forward, but we're going to want to know what happened to Andrew Garfield. We're going to want to know what happened to Tobey Maguire. We're going to want to see these villains, just like we talked about with Alfred Molina and Jamie Foxx. There's got to be some exposition with the villains. I mean, I think it'll feel strange if if our Spider-Men are passing through different dimensions with Doctor Strange or whatever, and we see Alfred, like they fight Alfred Molina for 1 second, but that's it. If it's basically kind of like a cameo, like that's going to feel strange to me. I
Yeah.
feel like if you're bringing him back, and the same thing that we were just talking about with Michael Keaton, if you're bringing these people back, it needs to be more than just fan service. It needs to be legit. I mean, they need to be back. They need to have a serious role, and that's why I've always said that about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, man. Especially Tobey Maguire. He needs to have a key role because he was the OG. He was Spider-Man. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? He kicked us off. So I hope that they all have legitimate roles instead of just fan service cameos.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I agree with you to the point where like these characters need to have like their moment to like at least explain what's going on or what's happened in their universe. Like
Yeah.
it needs to happen. Like otherwise, like I don't know.
I
It's
think
gonna
it'll
be a
be
wasted.
confusing.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wasted opportunity.
It
You
will.
know what I mean?
I'll tell
So
you what'll be a wasted opportunity if we don't get a scene of Toby, Tom, and Andrew. You go in like this.
like the meme.
You, no, you,
Yeah.
you. I need to see that, man. Disney, if I know you're watching because you're gonna delete our stream for talking about this. No, I'm kidding. Do that scene, please. It'll
Please
be
do
great.
it. Please do it. I will give you a dump truck load of not money, but of something. Just make it happen, please. I would love to see that
Woo!
recreated meme.
um, all right. So next little bit of news, and this isn't really a lot. This is just the horror fan in me got excited when I saw this. Um, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2021. We still don't really know what the name is. I guess as of right now, it's just the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like Halloween 2018 was Halloween. It's been officially rated R. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
For bloody violence, gore, and language. Again, surprise, surprise. The here, I okay. I'm excited for Texas Chainsaw. I really am. But I think what I fear is that they're going to tread ground that they've already tread. You know, with Halloween 2018, we had all the sequels, and then we had Rob Zombie's reboot,
Mm-hmm.
and then they decided to go back and do a direct sequel to the original and bypass all of the other stuff. And that's fine, and it worked. But with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they've already rebooted it with a direct sequel to the original.
Yeah.
So this is the second time that they're doing a direct sequel to the original. And if there's that, I mean, it's been confirmed they're setting it in present day. And Sally Hardesty is returning. I forget her Foul Ray. I forget what her first name is, but she's playing Sally. And I'm excited that Sally's going to come back, and I'm excited that they're doing this. But kind of the same thing with Indiana Jones 5. If you think about this logically, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Kind of ended.
took place in 1974.
Yeah.
Leatherface is already, I mean, he was probably in his late 20s in that movie. He was treated like shit. He lived in that pigsty of a house. I mean, he doesn't have any family. I doubt he's had any children because I mean, like if you look at the original, and I know the remake from 2003 was a little bit different, but if you look at the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he was like a child trapped in like a giant man's body.
Yeah.
Like he had like the emotional support of a child. And if we're getting old man Leatherface, what is his role going to be? Because if you have, and I say that 60-year-old Michael Myers worked. I mean, it works. It's cool. Michael is 60, and I believe he's 60 in Halloween as it is right now. But Leatherface is a little bit different. Michael was in an institution. They were feeding him. I mean, of course, we don't see that because there's got to be a level of ambiguity for Michael. But
Yeah.
There's always that constant thing. Does Michael pee and poop? We never see it. Does he?
Yeah.
Does he wipe?
I get what you're saying though with this whole
But
thing.
I don't know. Leatherface is a little bit different. If he's been living on his own, I mean, I doubt he has sex. I doubt he's had children.
Where the fuck did that come from?
I'm saying I doubt he's ever had children. I don't think he would. I don't think he's going to have any family left.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because
yeah,
all of his dirtbag family that treated him like crap and was inbred. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play this. We don't really know much about it. So my question is like, 60-year-old Michael does work, and I'm not saying it can't work. I think the idea of an old man Leatherface is great. The same thing as Harrison Ford. His age, I mean, if you in Indy 5, if we see Harrison Ford jumping from train cars and shooting guns and whipping and jumping and doing flips, it's going to be weird because Harrison Ford is 79 years old. Yeah. If we have Leatherface, I mean, let's see. 1974. I'm terrible at math. Forgive me. I'm a teacher and I'm terrible at math. 2021 minus 1974.
You got a calculator out, my guy?
If he was already 27, that would put him like in his late 60s, early 70s, man. I mean, don't you think that's a little strange? What's your take on the old man serial killer thing?
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like Rob Zombie's Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. Like he was like out in the woods.
He was a kid though. He wasn't very old. I mean, he wasn't a kid, but I mean, he was only like in his early 20s.
I'm talking about the second one. Like, whenever he like gets away.
Yeah, he still wasn't that much older though.
Yeah, but like he was out on his own.
He was out on his own. And I mean,
he was basically like a hobo. I think we'll see the Texas Chainsaw guy in hobo form in the beginning of the movie.
Well, and the other thing is like, you have to look at this. And I'm glad you brought up the Hobo Myers thing from H2 because, Leatherface, again, he all he knows is that farm and that family. So when his family is gone, it might be kind of cool to see him unhinged because, his family, I mean, have you seen the OG Texas Chainsaw?
I know that they treated him like shit. So
they treated him like you almost, I mean, like he's the killer, but they kind of low-key make him do it in a way. And even after he does it, like you almost kind of feel bad for him because you can tell that he is there. He's not all there, and I don't know if he's autistic. I don't know, but you can tell there's something off about him. He is like a child trapped in a man's body. So I think for him, once all of his family dies off and is gone, he's finally free to do whatever he wants to do. So we might get a completely unhinged, you know what I mean? Like just wild and crazy and free Leatherface, and he just might be crazy. So the other thing I'm curious about is how does Sally run into him again? Because I mean, at the end of the OG Texas, when she finally gets away on the truck, I mean, why would you ever return? You know what I mean? Yeah. Why would you ever go back there? I mean, if you survive some awful traumatic event, that's the last place I'm ever going back to, Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think, how about this? How about we, instead of unhinged Texas Chainsaw guy, how about we get this like well made, has a part-time job.
He works at the Ready Mart.
He works at the Ready Mart as a cashier, stocking. He's a stock boy, and then that's how they meet up. And then when they meet up, it clicks, and he turns back
He
into
triggers.
the unhinged.
He's wearing the skin mask and everything still, and he's just like, "Here are your groceries, ma'am. Here you."
Yeah, I like.
And he
that.
just snaps, and he just immediately goes back.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say, I hope and pray that they don't do just a copy and paste of Halloween 18, where, you know, after Sally escaped, they went and found him, and he's been incarcerated for 45 years. And then he escapes, and he goes back after Sally. And then it's just the same exact thing as Halloween 18. They don't need to do that. Because, again, that fits Michael. And really, there's a whole argument that Michael didn't even go after Laurie. It was just fate that they ran into each other again. It's not Leatherface's MO. Leatherface's MO, if they really do play that card and he's been incarcerated for 45 years, it would make sense for Leatherface to want to go home, because that's all he knows. He doesn't know anything else. He wants to go home to what he knows, to what is home to him. So I'm genuinely curious how they go about this, because I think, Texas Chainsaw is awesome, man. The original film is so great, and it's so gritty and nasty, and it makes you feel like you need to go take a shower with a stack of Bibles. Like, it makes you feel terrible inside at the end. And the rest of the franchise has kind of been very meh, except for the remake, the 2003 remake with Jessica Biel, man. That's a movie. That is a movie right there. It's good. It's one of the best remakes of a movie ever. It legitimately, and I don't mean that even, remove yourself from horror movies. It's one of the best remade movies of all time. It's fantastic. Jessica Biel was in it. Oh, it's great, man. It's really, really good. It's gritty, and it captures, it modernizes it, but it also captures that same like gross, disgusting, like you just kind of feel terrible at the end of it, because it's just so out there and out in left field and disgusting, but it's great.
Do you think that's probably what they'll do? Is like they'll hit the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
What do you mean?
Like, or do you think they'll do like a copy version of the 2003 version?
No, because the 2003 version was very much its own thing. They modernized it, and it was kind of not a reimagining, but they did change a couple of things from the original. But this is a different story. If they're doing a direct sequel to the original, it's going to change it a little bit. It's going to be something completely different. So I really am. I'm excited to see what they do with this, because now it can go, it's 50-50. This could be amazing, and it could be something really cool and different, unique for the franchise. But if we're being completely honest, this could easily turn into dog shit too. It really could. And I know, I didn't mind Texas Chainsaw 3D. I think they were trying to do something different. I actually saw that with Chris. I went and saw that with Chris and my dad in the movie theater. And it was good. It was kind of corny. Like, he ends up being related to the final girl, and like she ends up taking care of him at the end, and like he chases her throughout the movie, but like she throws him the chainsaw at one point, and she goes, "Do your thing, cuz." And it's just kind of like, okay. Like, I could do without the corniness here. But all of that being said, I'm excited to see Old Man Leatherface, and I'm pumped to see what they do with this. I'm rooting for it hardcore. I think it could be really cool.
It could be. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
We will see. I'm definitely interested to look at more information about that when it comes out.
Yeah.
So another interesting story that I had found. Have you seen Escape from New York? John Carpenter's Escape from New York.
I remember we talked about it in our 80s thing, and I really need to check it out.
I have it on Blu-ray. We need to watch that one day when you come over. I think you would dig it, because it's such an 80s retro dystopian type thing. And I mean, have I explained the plot to you?
Yeah, you did. It's some like Save the President thing. It's a really 80s thing.
It is. Donald Pleasance, who plays Loomis in the original Halloween, Fantastic British actor. He was in a whole bunch of different things. He's playing the president, and Kurt Russell is a convicted felon.
Mm-hmm.
But he was also a Marine, or so I believe he was a Marine or something like that, special ops. But New York City has been turned into a, it's 80s and it's retro because it's like what the 80s thought the future would be like, and of
Mm-hmm.
course it's nothing like what the future is like now, and we're 30 years past that. But basically New York, the island of Manhattan has been turned into a maximum security prison. It is just a free for all. There's no cells. It is just like if they dropped you in Manhattan and you are just on your own. Like you got to protect yourself, you got to find food, you got to find shelter. You're just on your own.
It's like have you played Arkham City? It kind of give me that vibe.
Yes. It is exactly like Arkham City. You're on your own. It's a maximum security facility, and the president crash lands. His Air Force One crash lands. I think it's hijacked or something like that. It's been a while since I watched it, but it crash lands in New York City, and Kurt Russell's character has to go in and retrieve him, and his name is Snake Plissken. It's dope. Call me Snake.
That's a
Call me
name.
Snake. It's dope, man. I think you would really dig it. John Carpenter's score is amazing in that movie too. He actually wrote the script for Escape from New York with Nick Castle, who played OG Michael Myers, not Tony Moran, who played unmasked Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Yes, I still remember my rem. But interesting story. Wyatt Russell, who plays U.S. agent, or God, what's his name? John Walker in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who we already know he auditioned for Cap when the MCU was starting, and now of course he's playing Bad Cap. He's playing the U.S. agent equivalent. He's been asked by a whole bunch of different people. I think there's been some interest in rebooting or remaking Escape from New York and modernizing that, which is dope. I think that would be a cool remake.
From what you've described to me, it sounds like if it was remade, the cinematography will look astounding.
It would. And you could, if somebody like Christopher Nolan got that, that would be amazing. I would love Christopher Nolan. If you're watching this, please remake Escape from New York. Please. That would be dope, because I think he has the mind for that weird dystopian, like strange version of reality. Plus seeing Manhattan as like a weird, just everything is destroyed, and felons going around killing each other, and people just like wild and like a Mad Max kind of thing. That would be awesome. I would love to see Chris Nolan do that. But Wyatt Russell has been asked so many times, would you play your dad's role? Like, would you play Snake Plissken in a reboot? And he doesn't sound like he's too interested in that. Here's what Wyatt Russell had to say. He said, although that's very kind, that will not be happening. There will be no Snake reboot for me, but that's like career suicide 101. That's like what not to do. I don't know if anybody else could be Snake Plissken. Good luck, go get him. I sincerely wish you the best of luck. I just don't know if it's possible. And for me, I really wanted to get people sending hate. If I really wanted to get people sending me hate mail, I think that's what I should do. I will not ever be doing anything like that. So he has no interest, which is kind of interesting. And in a way, I respect that, because that's one of his dad's most iconic roles. And it really, I mean, and you'll know what I mean.
It'd be kind of poetic if you think about it.
It would be poetic. I'd be down to see it, because I actually think that he's a really great actor. I know a lot of people hate John Walker, but you hate John Walker because Wyatt Russell is kicking so much ass playing him. Like, that's why you hate John Walker. But yeah, it would be poetic to see him reprising his dad's role. But at the same time, I understand and I respect the fact that he wants to do his own thing. And he, I get that. I completely understand. But yeah, man, I'm glad I thought of that. Chris Nolan doing an Escape from New York reboot. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see that, because
you're gonna love it. I really think you're gonna like it. My dad really likes it, and I remember it was on, I think it was on AMC Fear Fest one time, like in the month of October, and I was like, what it like I had heard people talk about it, and my dad was like, dude, you got to watch it. So he kept going, call me Snake, because like Kurt Russell plays this real like just
Really
like that, like just
badass,
like
like
real
80s,
that
like
like
stoic kind of guy.
he wears leather pants, if that tells
Mhm.
you anything. Like it's just like total badass the entire movie.
Yeah.
Um,
I wouldn't
so
be
I
surprised if like 90% of the people in that movie are wearing leather. Like, that's
mhm,
such an 80s thing.
mhm,
Yep.
absolutely. Um, but before we have a couple more before we wrap up here, and I want your opinion on this
Okay.
because we have talked ad nauseum on this channel, on this show, on this podcast, and there's so many different people talking about Warner Media and the Snyderverse and all of the drama surrounding that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and first of all, if this is all true, if Joss Whedon was being racist, if he was being terrible to people on set, that's awful, and that needs to be addressed. And Warner Media needs to address that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also on the flip side, to all of the and we said this in our Tony Moran talk earlier, uh, to all of the people who were sending threatening messages to Ann Sarnoff and to all the Warner Media executives and to the people who are in control of the DCEU, if you're threatening them, man, and if you're being a douche, you are literally you're not making it any better. You're literally ruining it. You are ruining the chances of the Snyderverse happening. Um, so this comes to us from Screen Rant. It was published 5 days ago, and Ray Fisher revealed or talked about what it would take for him to reprise the Flash if they
Mm-hmm.
offered it to him. Uh, and I don't know, man. Part of me, I feel for Ray Fisher, and I feel for everybody that that Joss Whedon was a douchebag to, and I feel for people who had a terrible experience on that. But at the same time, at some point, when are we ever going to let this go?
Are you talking about this whole thing? I
I'm
mean,
talking
he
about the
has
whole.
to
I'm talking about the whole thing because
look
from what I understand,
since.
I think Warner Media has already said like they don't want Ray Fisher back. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're done. Um, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, this stuff is just, it's kind of coming out more frequently now because with the whole Zack Snyder thing, like,
Mhm.
everyone is trying to say, like, look, what they did to Zack Snyder was terrible, and not only did they fuck over Zack Snyder, but they also treated the entire cast like shit.
They did, and
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed. That needs up front. That needs to be addressed. Um, but here's what Ray Fisher had to say about reprising Cyborg. He said, I think where we can start is an acknowledgement, an apology of what is clearly publicly known to be an issue. I think that's where the accountability begins. And I agree with him. They need to take control of this. Warner Media, I mean, and they need to really get ahead of this thing and
Yes.
say, look, this was wrong. You were wrong. The people who worked on this film were wronged. Whether they want to continue the Snyderverse or not, that's their call. Uh, but
That's kind of it's kind of what I'm thinking of, right? Like, they're kind of just blowing off this whole thing. Like, everything that's happened to the cast and Zack Snyder, they're just blowing it off. They literally,
well,
they're like, it's kind of like gaslighting or something like that. I don't know if I even know
mm,
the phrase, but they pretty much said, like, we'll give you Zack Snyder cut, but then that's it. We're not gonna acknowledge all the shit that's happened to you and all the shit Josh Whedon did to the cast, and they're just gonna move forward with what
and
he created.
I know they've had internal investigations and things like that. But I kind of feel like at what point are we going to accept that the Snyderverse is not going to continue? At what point are we going to accept that the version of Cyborg we got is going to no longer be there?
Yeah.
Again, I've man, Ray Fisher, I feel terrible for him, man. He was fantastic. He was great as Cyborg in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I would pay money. I mean, I would pay money to see him return as the role, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't. And I think it's because of everything and all of the drama surrounding this. I don't think it's going to happen. So, what he's saying here, and that he wants an apology and he wants an acknowledgement that everything that's happened is wrong. I
Yep.
don't think they're going to give him that.
They're not.
And I hate it. I hate it because, again, in the world we live in, we live in of Black Lives Matter, and there's so much hate. There's so much vitriol and just so much animosity between people. Things like that need to be addressed, and that's why I wanted to talk about the Tony Moran thing, because when you're making homophobic comments or racist comments, or you are talking about people in the way that some of these celebrities and these stars talk about other people, there has to be accountability for that. There has to be. And I think there's a little bit of ridiculousness on both sides here. On Warner Media's side, they need to address this. They need to come out and say, look, this was wrong. But at the same time, on all of the fans' side, at what point is it going to be enough? You know what I mean? And I kind of feel like we're in a weird gray area of I don't really know what the answer to that is. Would you agree?
I agree wholeheartedly. And I mean, I don't know. It's just there needs to be more said about this whole situation at hand. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be more in the spotlight, because I know this isn't the only case of mistreatment in
It's
the
not.
movie industry.
I guarantee you this happens all the time. And it's unfortunate because we never get to hear about it. But hopefully this will be the beginning of a movement. And I hope this is the beginning of more accountability in Hollywood, because I think that is something that, unfortunately, I'm dropping all my Post-it notes. I think, unfortunately, a lot of things like that, when people make these comments and when people treat other people badly, unfortunately, it's slid under the rug a lot of times. And I'm not accusing Warner Media of sliding it under the rug. I don't think they've slid it under the rug, but I think it could be addressed. I think it could be straight up addressed more than it has been.
Yep.
But I think we need to. I think we need to find some common ground here, because there is too much animosity between the higher ups and the fans. There's too much, and that doesn't need to be there. At first, I get it. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. I get it. I tweeted it out. I was a part of it. But again, the threats are bogus, stupid. If you're making threats, you're wrong. You are wrong. And if I think the racist comments and the homophobic comments and even what Joss Whedon was accused of saying to Gal Gadot about he'll ruin her career, and I don't take orders from anybody, including Robert Downey Jr. or whatever. I mean, just like stuff like that, man. Like Hollywood needs to be rid of that, and I know that will never happen.
It's just
but
a toxic.
We need to get rid of that toxicity. Exactly.
Yeah.
I got my Post-it note here.
Yeah, you got your Post-it notes.
Got my Post-it. I had to pick it up. Got to get my notes. So that's all I really wanted to say about that. I think I hope, I'm hoping for accountability, but I'm also hoping for reasonable thoughts from people too. And I'm not saying what Ray Fisher said is not reasonable. Ray Fisher deserves that. He deserves an apology. He really does. But I'm hoping we find some common ground here over the next couple of months with all of this.
Yeah, because this is an important. I mean, not okay. There's plenty of more important matters at hand in this world right now, but like as movie lovers and movie lover fans, like this is important for us to acknowledge.
It is
toxicity in the movie industry and through all levels of cinema. Okay, there's too much of it, and some great movies. Let's be honest, some great movies that we see right now, there probably was some toxic things that's happened in that movies, but it all comes out fine. But we need to acknowledge the fact that there's some aspects of the movie making business that needs to be addressed and needs to be tackled, because otherwise it's just going to keep moving forward with all this toxic themes that are happening in the movie making business.
Well, and I hope, my hope is that through things like and again, I don't wish anything bad on Tony Moran. I don't wish anything bad on Sony executive or on Warner Media executives. I do not wish anything bad on Joss Whedon. I hope that there is increased accountability and that there's an increased awareness of what you say to people, even behind closed doors when you think nobody is listening.
Mm-hmm.
It still matters.
Yep.
And I think that's really, really important. And we need to move towards that. Even at world events recently, I think we're moving towards more accountability. So
I think we are too. So
that's all I've got to say about that. Real quick, last two little pieces of news before we get out of here. This has been a fun show. I've enjoyed this a lot. Even though we had to do it in our two separate sessions, thanks to our weird Kentucky rain, wind, sleet, snowstorm. Did you see that Emilia Clarke is joining the MCU in Secret Invasion?
No, really.
We don't know her role. We don't know what capacity, but she is joining Secret Invasion. Now, I have a couple of thoughts here. We know Secret Invasion is coming down the road. Obviously, I know you actually talked about Secret Invasion quite a bit in one of our earlier episodes. I think the Spider-Man episode. Episode 2 or 3. You had talked about Secret Invasion, really liking that storyline, and it's a very cool storyline, and I think it's going to be really cool to see that adapted, and to see what Marvel does with that. I have a couple of trains of thought here. And, I went back through and I kind of refreshed myself on the Secret Invasion storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would really like to see Emilia Clarke. Again, we don't know her role, but I think Emilia Clarke is a fantastic actress. She kicks ass. She's awesome. I would really like to see her play White Cream. White Cream. I don't know. I'm losing my mind. White Queen or Emma Frost. She's a member of the X-Men.
Yeah, but she's not necessarily.
She's not necessarily a member of the X-Men. I think she's kind of like an anti-hero type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that would depend. That would be entirely dependent on whether or not mutants are canon yet in the MCU. I think that's coming. I don't know if we're there yet.
Not there yet.
You think we'll?
It's gonna be
we'll be there by Secret Invasion?
I think what's gonna happen is we'll probably get series, TV shows of mutants first,
because there's already been Easter eggs.
Yeah, there's been plenty of Easter eggs for mutants, but I don't think there's going to be a legitimate movie till later on down the line.
Oh, no, and I don't expect there to be an X-Men movie for a while. I think we'll get the Fantastic Four movie before we get an X-Men movie.
Yeah,
which that's already confirmed. We will get a Fantastic Four movie before an X-Men movie. But I'm just saying the introduction of mutants, like this person is a mutant, like they're not part of the X-Men. We don't have the X-Men yet, but they're a mutant. And I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool. But I would like to see her play Emma Frost, or hear me out. What if Emilia Clarke played Elektra?
Nah.
Really?
Nah.
Dude, I think she would make an awesome Elektra.
Nah. It has to be someone else.
Really?
Yeah. I can't see her as Elektra.
Like Jennifer Garner? I thought she was a cool dude. I loved her. I thought she was an awesome Elektra. That sounded terrible. I didn't mean that as a dig at all. I really like her movies.
Yeah.
And I loved her in Daredevil too.
Yeah. Which Daredevil obviously had its faults, but I mean,
yeah.
I can't see Elektra being in any movie yet because what's her name? The one who played Elektra in the Daredevil series in Marvel. That's a good Elektra. Yeah. She was pretty dope. But again, like unless Daredevil is going to be introduced, which he may be.
It would be Charlie Cox's Daredevil, so maybe that wouldn't work because.
Well, they are thinking of reprising those TV series, so.
And it's rumor mill. It's rumored that Charlie Cox is going to be in No Way Home, but we don't actually know for sure. So
his scenes are filmed. Charlie Cox is in the new Spider-Man movie, but is he going to be donning the Daredevil suit?
I don't know if he'll be in the Daredevil suit, but if Charlie Cox is in it, his TV shows are canon. That
Yep.
would mean John Bernthal is the Punisher. That would mean
Mhm.
you have the Defenders. I mean that
Mhm.
that means a lot. If they choose to do that, that means a lot for the
Yeah.
MCU.
And they need
So
to
I guess that wouldn't.
bring in Kingpin back, because let me
They
tell you
do.
right now that what's his fucking name? I
Could you see
forgot.
that Kingpin with Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
I
And
need to go back.
plus,
I watched The Punisher and I watched Daredevil. I kind of skimmed through Jessica Jones and all of them. I wasn't like crazy about it,
yeah,
but
I wasn't into the whole other TV shows. I liked The Punisher and I liked Daredevil, obviously, but the
yeah.
other ones they kind of like fell kind of short with me a little bit.
Can we agree on something here?
What
John Bernthal is an incredible Punisher.
he needs to come to the MCU. Of all the
That
people
man
in the
embodies
MCU,
Frank Castle.
yeah, Vincent did Onofrio. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You just
That's
said
the actor.
Dinano Frio. That's what you just said.
That's the actor.
Dinano Frio.
Hey man, excuse my accent, but he played Kingpin tremendously. He was in Law and Order.
Yeah, he was good. He was very good.
He was a crazy I think he was the crazy dude in Full Metal Jacket, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm
What?
talking about? In Full Metal Jacket, have you seen that movie?
Yeah, was he?
Yeah, he was the crazy the private that went ballistic. It's an old movie.
Wow, that just blew my mind. It really is him.
Yep, it is.
Holy
He's a
crap.
great actor, and him portraying Kingpin, I don't know, it just made me love Kingpin so much more because again, it
Wow.
made him a complex character.
It did. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it. So yeah, I'm curious. Anyways, back to Amelia Clark. That was the whole that we just went off on a tangent. I'm excited she's joining the MCU. I know she's got a comic book coming out. I think I saw that today. She's got it's not even a Marvel comic book. I think she wrote a comic book. And it's about a female superhero, and that's pretty dope. So
We're getting a Miss Marvel too, ain't we?
we are getting Miss Marvel, yeah. But she's been confirmed for Secret Invasion. Like it's 100%. She will be a part of Secret Invasion. I wonder if she's playing a Skrull.
She could be. I mean, she could get that.
I could see
makeup.
that too. I could see her playing a Skrull.
Yeah.
So last little bit of news before we wrap up is from the Walking Dead universe. And this is interesting. This is the kind of content I've been waiting for. So Andrew Lincoln recently did an interview with SFX magazine, and you know they asked him about Rick's return and what we can expect from Rick returning to the Walking Dead universe. And because as we know, if you've watched The Walking Dead and if you're caught up, Rick died. They think he's dead. They believe he's dead, but he's really not. Rick will be returning in the Walking Dead series of films. He is signed on for more than one film. And SFX magazine asked Andrew Lincoln point blank about whether or not he would return for the final season of The Walking Dead. And here's what Andrew Lincoln had to say. He said, "That's a very good question. The easy answer is I have no idea. I don't think it's written yet, but I would never say never to that because everybody that's still doing the TV show are dear friends, and it's an extraordinary feat that they're still going and making this beautiful and groundbreaking show that still resonates with the world." And that's true, man. I know there's a lot of hate for The Walking Dead, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it sucks." But man, The Walking Dead is great, and it's been
It's a successful
a
universe.
journey. It has been a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It really has been. So yeah, what do you think about the possibility of Rick returning for the final season?
I think it's poetic.
It is
I'm gonna
poetic.
say that right there. It's gonna be great to see Rick back.
It will, and I kind of think they can still do his movies. They can still explain where he's been. They can still do the CRM thing. He can cross over into World Beyond. But I think if you're going to end the main storyline, I feel like it needs to begin with Rick and end with Rick. Now, what you do with Rick from that point on, do whatever you want. Make it go wild, go butt crust crazy, whatever you want to do. But I think you have to end it with Rick. You have to bring him back to really end the show, to bring it full circle and bring that journey to a close. It has to be Rick. It has to. Here's what I hope they don't do, and I've thought about this. I'm hoping when we get to the final episodes of The Walking Dead, like the final, 3 or 4, I hope they don't end it on a cliffhanger so that you have to watch World Beyond or have to watch Fear or the movies.
You're gonna have to.
That's gonna piss me off. Like, I mean, leave it open. Like, you can leave it open and you can leave room to explore. But if they end it on a cliffhanger, I'm gonna be like, are you kidding me? You ended the main, like the mothership show on a cliffhanger? Like, don't do that. You don't need to do that. That's stupid. But I don't think they'll do that. But yeah, he also was asked about, the progress and where they're at with the Walking Dead movies. And he had this to say. He said, "I'm not filming at the moment. I'm still very much in lockdown. We're very excited about how at the first available opportunity, we're going to go into production. There's talk of it being spring. I can't wait to get into those cowboy boots." So again, Andrew Lincoln is excited. I think part of the reason for him leaving was when they killed off Carl, when they got rid of Chandler Riggs. I think that sealed the deal for him. I really do. And I think he had enough love for the franchise and for the character that he was going to wait. He wouldn't just say, "I quit," and leave him empty-handed. I have the hiccups. I don't know why. He wouldn't leave him. He would. We do know why. He wouldn't leave him empty-handed, but at the same time, I think he waited for the right opportunity to leave. But he's gone. I mean, he's gone on record. He said he misses it. He misses playing Rick. He misses that group of people. And I think if they're gonna end The Walking Dead, they have to bring Rick and Michonne back to our main group.
Fuck, I forgot about Michonne.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. Not gonna lie.
We have to see them reunite. We just have to. I feel like it is. I feel like it is the only way to successfully end it is if you bring them back.
I do agree. And
what?
Sorry, what? And I was gonna say, like, they need to like end it on a like. They need to end it in a way where everyone's story is pretty much sealed in that series. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like that way, when that's over, we can say, okay, yeah, this storyline's over, and they're going out their separate ways. Because obviously that's what's gonna happen. Like the other spinoffs, there's like them and their separate ways.
And even after The Walking Dead ends, I fully expect to see all of our main characters that survive till the end of the show. We're gonna see them in the spinoffs. Like the Walking Dead, the main series will be over, but the characters will still live on through the other shows and through the other spinoffs and things like that. And the movies, I mean, it's gonna end, but it's not really gonna end, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. I ain't complaining. I love The Walking Dead, man. I always have since day one. I got my poster hanging right here above me.
I got
Lucille over here. She's over on the wall. I still got to buy a light. I need to buy a light to put it. I have it in the back case, but I want to put the light like a white or a red light or something to like shine up so you see it. But
yeah,
so we'll get there. But guys, that is going to do it for our second episode of Let's Talk Movies. We want to thank you so much, or Let's Talk Movie News. I don't even know what I'm talking about. This is Let's Talk Movie News. Wrong show. But we want to thank you so much for listening and for hanging out with us. Please let us know, what did you think of this week's movie news? Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify, tweet at us at We Talk the Movies. Let us know what you think. We want to build this community, and we want to hear from you. New episodes of Let's Talk Movies drop Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and all of your favorite podcast platforms. And we're talking the 1990s in film this Monday. It'll be the last part of our decade series. And then next Friday, the next episode of Let's Talk Movie News will drop. And you won't want to miss it. So that'll drop at 8 p.m. next Friday. Thank you. We hope everything is good in your world. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.